Hey there, Legal Tea listeners. This is your host, Jenny Roselle. Welcome back for another episode of Legal Tea. Today's topic is a current trend, something going on in the current time that is pertinent to my little estate and elder law world. So on today's episode, I happened to stumble upon an article talking about aging in place, which is a term of art for people who are getting older. And rather than moving into, say, independent living or assisted living or nursing home, they'd prefer to grow old and remain in their home for as long as possible. And I mean, that is, of course, what everyone wants, right? I mean, not many people are throwing their arms up to volunteer to move into a long-term care community, but really to promote the idea of being able to age in place. This article I stumbled upon, which by the way is a Yahoo Life article written by Nafisa Allen, talks about things you can do right now to make aging in place more likely than not. Also, beyond this article by Miss Allen, I also reached out to grab some commentary from my friend and professional partner, Lisa McCoy, who is a real estate professional in the Indianapolis area. And I wanted her to chime in on this aging in place topic. She really provides some really interesting and very real feedback, so definitely listen closely. So let's dive in. The article explains there are really 5 things to consider and or to do to prepare yourself to have a shot at aging in place. And let's just go through them one by one. So first, kicking things off is the dreaded stairs. To no one's surprise, right? So as we age, our stability, our balance, it gets a little off sometimes, and we're more apt to fall. With stairs involved, that just makes the danger level drastically increase. So as the article shares, while a one-story ranch-style home is not always the most visually appealing, it's definitely going to take having lots of stairs out of the equation. And in my field, I've heard clients tell me that they haven't been to their second story, if they have a multi-level home, in a long time. And cleaning up there? Kiss that idea goodbye. And another thing to consider on this topic is not even stairs inside, but what about stairs outside? Like, what if it's a one-story ranch-style house, but it sits on top of a big hill with lots of incline and stairs? So whether those stairs are inside or outside, they could be problematic. Now, say you absolutely love your house and it's not a one-story ranch. Perhaps you get some quotes on installing a chairlift. Or while it sounds a little fancy-dancy, installing an elevator is not out of the question either. And side note, I know that sounds crazy, but there are types of elevators in homes that are not like the big, large ones you see in like a hotel, right? In fact, the article explains that a lady by the name of Robin Wilson, who does sustainable design work, has seen many clients repurpose a coat closet to make room for an elevator. And she even shared that there are some that merely plug into a regular electric outlet. Whoa. And before we shift to the next topic, like I said, I talked to Lisa McCoy about this topic, and she shared that there are so many renovations that can be made even in a multi-level home to make it more compatible for the owner. She shared living or dining rooms can be converted to bedrooms or half baths into full baths so that the owner does not have to traverse steps. A renovation can sometimes be more cost efficient than a multi-year lease in a retirement community. And she's right. Say you don't have or can't get a ranch-style home, there are definitely things you can do to a multi-level home to set yourself up for success as well. I think this is extra important to note because, as Lisa shared and I knew, ranch-style homes are a hot commodity. I tell you what, they just fly kind of off the shelves. Lisa explained, because of the high demand for ranch-style houses, we typically see ranches sell at a premium price. Though the challenge with the traditional ranch that was built a few decades earlier is that it was not built with seniors in mind. She's right. Typically, the doorways are narrow, and the bathrooms cannot accommodate wheelchairs very easily. Even if you can afford a ranch, you may still have to make some renovations to help a loved one age in place. Those are all valid points, and maybe this is a reason to possibly consider a 55-plus community with newer ranch-style homes that may combat what Lisa just mentioned. Alrighty, on to the next topic to consider on aging in place, the second being getting those lights to shine nice and bright. And this sounds kind of obvious, right? But how many times have you walked into an older person's house and it's dark? For whatever reason, I remember my grandparents' house often being dark inside. Maybe it was the type of light fixtures too that really didn't blast out bright light. Anyway, brighten up your houses, my friends, because when it's dark, you're more prone to not see something and fall. And you know what happens when you fall? Well, sometimes you break something. And let me tell you about the number of clients I hear that they fall, they break a hip, and they can't return home. And make sure there's plenty of lighting, again, inside and outside. So add lamps, check out skylights, or even things like motion sensor lighting for places like closets and hallways. And then outside, make sure there are well-lit paths, especially ones you routinely use. You could check out solar lights, or again, there are lights that are also motion sensor for outside as well. Okay, on to the third thing to consider. Prepare to be different heights. And I'm sure you're like, what in the world do you mean by that, Jenny? Well, what I mean is quite literally different heights. As we age, again, sometimes our balance and our physical capabilities shift, right? So it's possible we have to start using a wheelchair or even a walker or a cane, which oftentimes means that it'd sure be easier to not have to stretch to get something or stand on our tiptoes to get something. So experts in this community really suggest equipping yourself with adjustable things like sinks that can raise up and down, which who knew existed? I didn't. Or adjustable things like desks, if you enjoy reading. And onto your bed. According to this Yahoo Life article, it's wise to add step stools with handrails near beds and closets as well. The article mentions that the recommended height for a bed is 21 inches tall, as it's, quote, the optimal height for ease of getting in and out. Things by your bed, too, like a nightstand, should be relatively easy to reach from your bed. That way you don't feel like you're having to do some wonky yoga pose to reach your glass of water or reach for your glasses and jeopardize rolling or falling out. On to the fourth thing to discuss, preparing the bathroom. The article explains that many accidents happen in the bathroom, so one should ensure their bathroom supports this general idea of aging in place. I mean, how many times have you almost slipped in the shower or tripped getting out of the tub? You know, I'm in my late 30s. I'm trying to age myself. I'm in my mid 30s, and I still, have tripped getting in and out of the tub or inside the shower. So it makes sense, right? So because of this, there are a few things you can consider revising in your bathroom, such as installing a curbless shower so that there's nothing to step over. Because not only will this prevent or deter tripping, it will also be way easier if you get around in a wheelchair or a walker. With a curbless shower, your options merely just open up. Heck, you may be able to get yourself into the shower, or you could even bring your wheelchair or walker into the shower. And back to the little things that you may not be thinking of, like the shower flooring, make it non-slip. Or even the shower appliances like the knobs, make those appropriate heights. So if you are in a wheelchair, you can reach things. And perhaps maybe even lower them a bit, more so than you think. That way, in case you're confined in a wheelchair, you're not having to get up and down from your wheelchair or stretching in a wet surface on a walker or something like that. Also, something else handy to do would be to select a shower head that is like one of those hand wand sprayer kind. So if you needed to remain sitting for a good portion of your bathing, you could just grab that hand wand and do it yourself without having to stay standing up. Oh, and lastly on this bathroom topic, put lots of grab bars everywhere. By the toilet, in the shower, just do it. Just do it. Okay, and on the last thing to consider on this aging in place topic, number 5 is tech up your home. And okay, I get it. I know technology and growing older seems to be at odds with one another. Though those that embrace technology and utilize it to support aging in place will come out ahead. Hear me out. A few things the article mentions are, did you even know, because I didn't, that now there is flooring that can alert appropriate individuals if someone falls? Or it can even be triggered to turn on the lights when there is feet on the floor. The article name drops Shaw Floors, who came out with the Sins Floor technology to make this so, which I think is really cool. The article even mentions investing in things like automatic shutoffs for, say, a stove that simply prevents accidents to occur while cooking. All in all, that wraps up what the article shares as possible. Recommended changes that you can really implement in your home to set yourself up to be successfully able to age in place. And as the costs related to long-term care continue to skyrocket, so long-term care meaning assisted living, skilled nursing, as those costs continue to rise, this topic will likely become more and more popular. Along these lines, it'd be prudent of me as an elder law attorney to also mention the ability to access governmental benefits like Medicaid to pay for things like home health care. So what that means is, say, for example, you begin to age in place and something happens and you need just an extra set of hands and need some help. Home health care assistance could be a thing you look into, and Medicaid could help pay for those services. That way, you're not paying out of your own pocket. One last quick thing that Lisa McCoy mentioned to me was that if you ever have any concerns about a loved one that is getting older and trying to stay at home, a good place to start here in Indiana is the Central Indiana Council on Aging. And they have a ton of resources, and I could not agree more with Lisa. Tons of resources they're commonly referred to as CICOA, C-I-C-O-A. She said that even outside of Indiana, there is a whole network of building contractors that specialize in building or renovating homes for seniors to age in place. So they're often called Certified Aging in Place Specialists, commonly called CAPS, through the National Association of Home Builders. And lastly, there's also a designation that a realtor can get called a Senior Real Estate Specialist. Another helpful little tidbit. Oh, by the way, you can find Lisa's information in the source links for this episode. She is a wonderful person, professional, and realtor, and I could not highly recommend her anymore. Alrighty, next week's topic is on estate planning of the rich and famous. And on that episode, we're going to be talking about the famous singer Naomi Judd and what has happened so far following her passing earlier this year in 2022. And even though the estate is very, very newly opened, there are already so many things you can learn estate planning wise from what's been going on. So tune in next Tuesday, Legal Tea listeners, to hear all about it. Talk to you then and stay well.